Welcome to the Fifth Trooper Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Fifth Trooper Podcast. My name is Jay Shalansky, and joining me as always is the one, the only, Evan Boris.
I'm never going back to work, Jay. Never, ever. No matter how many people you sick on me, I'm never going back to work.
How many was it?
I think my favorite was the chain reaction of one person got message, and they'd say the next person check your message, and the next person check your message, and the next person check your message. Then a fifth guy would come up to me and be like, "Yo, Jay says get back to work."
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that were like messaging on the Facebook and were texting me like, "Yo, when I see Evan, I'm totally telling him Jay says get back to work."
Dude.
So, I throw down the gauntlet to those of you going to Nova. Keep on going. You keep telling Evan to get back to work.
I'm never going back to work. One of the guys I was playing an X-Wing goes, "Yo, Jason, get back to work." I'm like, I'm not even playing Legion. My own time. Come on.
That's perfect.
I'm safe here.
I love you guys out there. Please keep doing that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
So let's get some of the housekeeping nonsense out of the way. So once again, thank you everyone who has so far supported us on Patreon. And if you haven't, we got some great stuff coming up in October, which is the end of the 3-month, the quarter. We will be shipping out the Dubaco shirts to our top tier. And then that same top tier at the end of the year, you actually get a mat as well. So That's going to be crazy. We've met our first 2 goals. So in September, you'll be seeing a video, a Bosk video, actually, like a Legion 101 Bosk video, how to play Bosk. And then also we're going to have our first battle report, which our own Kyle Dornboss recorded with a surprise guest down south. And so we're going to have both of those up in September, which is really exciting. And that's all thanks to our Patreon members. And it's been great. YouTube has been going well. We've been getting subscribers. Please continue that trend and subscribe. That would be awesome. And also, if you hadn't had a chance, I published it on our social media. But last week I was actually on Krabick on his YouTube channel. He did an interview with me, which was great. And so we're gonna return the kindness in a few weeks. We'll have him on and talk to Krabick as well.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so just a lot going on for the Fifth Trooper Network here. And, you know, we've been kind of keeping up with the blog. I was supposed to put a post out last week, but it's a little delayed. But we'll have 2 this week. So that'll be great. And, so just keep checking out Fifth Trooper Network and support us where you can, when you can, whether it's just a like or a follow or a retweet or subscribe or whatever you can muster. We really appreciate it.
No, all that stuff is great. It's always appreciated.
Yeah, and in that vein, so we did hit the 1,000 mark on YouTube. So we started doing advertising. I've tried to limit it to like these episodes, the podcast episodes. I do a skippable ad right before, and then I do the pop-up ads during. If you feel like maybe it's too much or whatever, just reach out. Let me know what your feelings are on it, and contact@thefifthtrooper.com. That's our email. Really the whole concept is so that we can generate revenue. And I know, I think at this point though, YouTube ads for all of us are pretty par for the course, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Joe Rogan podcast, and he does his on YouTube. It's just part of the deal, and it just helps us bring in revenue so that we can keep bringing you guys amazing content.
But have you heard about the great mobile app Raid Shadow Legends?
No, the one I've been getting a lot lately.
Join our guild.
I don't even wait to see what the heck it is, but it's some soap for men or something like hey, if you're a manly man, your soap you're using sucks. I bet you didn't even know what soap you were getting. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure what soap I get. And
our new game, Grandma's Big Hug 4. I get a lot of that one.
You ever find yourself like talking to commercials, like especially the ones that are like talking directly to you, like answering and be like,
"Yeah, you're right.
Hey, get out of my house. This is my house. You don't tell me what to do."
My soap is lacking.
Who are you, man? Who are you to tell me what my soap is or isn't?
No, but let us know. We're just doing it because we are able to now, and it helps, right?
Yeah. And it's great, and just let us know what you think. I know they're a little annoying, so don't like reach out to us and be like, I hate ads. Like, we know everybody hates ads. But just let us know if you have, you know what would be great? If you have a different solution on how we could be approaching this. That would help us as well. You know, we have the Patreon. That's been doing well. But that money is very specific. That's for us to do videos and stuff, right? That's more of where that money is going towards, is to make sure that we can afford to do these videos and afford to get the equipment and all this stuff to keep
traveling, all that
travel,
stuff,
all that stuff for videos. And so the ads are more of a supplemental to help us. I mean, there's a lot of overhead costs. You know, heck, I'll break it down for you guys right now. So, you know, we have web hosting costs, we have the domain costs, we have hosting costs for the 3 podcasts that we run. You know, there's a lot of incremental costs that come with that. You know, what you guys are enjoying, and it's free to you guys. And, you know, unless you're on the Patreon, but you're getting other stuff for that money. So, you know, the ads just help kind of offset the lists of costs that we are incurring in order to bring you guys free content. And listen, yes, we chose to do this, but you're enjoying it now. And so for us to continue doing it, we're trying to supplement.
Yeah, no, when I was doing a Radical Squadron X-Wing podcast for a while, I paid like SoundCloud to host it, and it ended up being like almost $200 a year. I didn't really realize it because it was $15 a month. But man, like when we broke it down, when we got together and we did like a little round table about what our costs are looking like that plus equipment and everything, it adds up, man. You know, it's just part of doing it.
It does. And the more, and you guys will see, so next week is our 1 year anniversary podcast.
Yeah, it's gonna be real cool.
And as you'll hear, we went out and did a bunch of stuff to make that a special episode for you guys and for us. And so, you know, this stuff, it costs money. For instance, our voiceover work that we have on this podcast and the audio,
that's
like
oddly expensive. Yeah, that's
like, especially if you want it done professionally, right? And so, like, yeah, there's just these expenses so that we can bring you a better quality podcast, and that's why we are putting the advertising on YouTube. So anyways, just reach out, let us know if you have constructive feedback as far as maybe there's some other ideas that we could do. We're open to it.
Bake sale, car wash, you know, whatever.
You want to do I'll tell you what, we'll do a swimsuit car wash with the Notorious Scoundrels and 5th Troopers. So you guys come on out and we'll wash your cars. In
5 sweaty dudes washing your car. Mm-hmm. You come to middle of nowhere, Syracuse, and we'll do it.
That's right. Yeah. No problem.
But yeah, so Canada.
Oh yeah.
Grand National Championship.
So our own E-Dog here went up to Canada and was told to get back to work multiple times. Evan, break it down for us. So let's do it in this order. I want everybody to hear how you did in X-Wing. Our boy Evan did really well in X-Wing.
Oh gosh.
Well, you did, right?
No, it's I did.
I know it's heartbreaking though, but and then we'll move into Legion. So go ahead, tell us the whole experience. How was the travel?
Okay, so travel was great actually. So we went up Thursday night, played X-Wing Friday. Turns out it was a fan expo. I kind of knew that was happening, but I just kind of knew the tournaments were there. Apparently it was just a fan expo for like everything. They had like anime, TV, movies. I saw Harry Potter people, everything. Wow. Like I saw everything. My buddy Pat got to see a panel with the actors from The Boys, so that was super cool.
By the way, just quick segue, if you have not seen The Boys on Amazon, if you don't have Amazon Prime, which you should have Amazon Prime, it's crazy if you don't. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you don't have Amazon Prime, what are you doing with your life? Number one. Number two, you have Amazon.
Sponsored by Amazon.
Right. If you have Amazon Prime and you don't know, you get free videos with that. Go on, watch The Boys. It's amazing.
That was so that was cool. But day one, I went to play X-Wing, and originally I just did it kind of for fun while I was waiting for Legion, because my buddy Pat really wanted to play. But I'm like, I love X-Wing, so I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Like, I can't even if I make the cut, I can't play. I gotta play Legion. First game, get wrecked. I got like 22 points. He tabled me. I'm running 8 drones with shells and struts, my little feats, and I'm like, wow, that was bad. I'm like, you know what? I'm a Legion player anyway now. To heck with this. And so I get the bye, and I'm palling around with the PTL guys. they're doing a PTL Open, and they're doing Legion at it, and they asked if we can come up.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of just dropping this on Jay now, but yeah, they like.
Well, as you're dropping it on me now, the answer in this moment is sure.
Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just said, yeah, well, definitely we'll table it and see what's going on with that. But well, I'm sorry, workshop it. That's a better word. So get the bye, and buys in any of these games are just like super wins. So I'm like, you know what, man, I'm 1-1. I did pretty good today. Next game I win, and I'm like, oh god, I'm technically 3-1 right now. I could do it. Then I win my next one, and I'm like, holy smokes.
And that one was?
Yeah, I was on stream.
On stream, yeah. So Evan actually messaged me and was like, hey, I'm 3-1 and I'm going to be on stream. And so I got to watch the stream, which was great. You did a great job in that game.
It was I actually have the opponent's name. I got most of my opponent's names. That one was Matthew Harley. He was playing a droid swarm as well. He was playing a doofus swarm.
Oh man, that was incredible to watch. Like, so for those of
the
you,
table.
for those of you who haven't played X-Wing or haven't seen an X-Wing stream, they list all the ships on the sides of the screen.
So bad for that guy.
And then they also number the ships. So they in this particular stream, they had, so they would go, okay, on your list, this droid is 1, this droid is 2. And so it was just like, it's like 8 like long on either side. There's like a million ships on the board. It was something to watch.
The
for
guy
sure.
from it was VVTV who did it. They do a lot of Canadian streams. He comes up and he's like, yo, what's this? And we're like, yeah, there's 16 chips on the table. He's like, so he kept running over and like checking. He's like, can you point? Like, he was super cool and he was the only one there.
Yeah.
So he was trying, man. Like, he was running back and forth, making sure the damage was right. Because it got to the point where we kind of forgot who shot sometimes. So I got tokens at one point, shield tokens, like, Mark, yeah, that thing shot. Because there's so many ships and you're like going back and forth and triggers and everything. We're like, I don't remember where we left off. But no, that was he put up a great fight. He ended up getting I ended up top 3 for faction in CIS. I got 3rd, and he got 2nd. So he knocked me out. Like,
and
that
so
good.
that, for those of you that don't know, that works on MOV, right?
Yep. So it's I was off by so each of my little drones is worth 25 points. Each time I lose one, the opponent gets it. So like it was like 1 or 2 of my drones died that game. That cost me that. But you know what, man? I did real good. I did way better than I thought. And then 6th game I lost, so I went 4-2. And here's where the heartbreak comes in. So top 16 make it. I was 17th.
Yep.
By like 2 drones, and I was.
That seems to be a real 5th trooper move.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Well, because that was LVO, right? Like I was 13th out of 12, so it was. Yep.
Gosh,
yep.
Yeah,
there we go.
I looked at it, and I'm like, well, I can't play anyway, but so I'm going like top down. And I see 16th, like 17th in my name. I'm like, because the players in Canada are very good at X-Wing, and I almost had it, Jay. I was so close, and you were like, hey man, if you make it, just play.
So I watched Evan play on stream, and Evan was really there for Legion, like he said. But then we saw how well he was doing, and I was like, dude, if you win your next game, just go X-Wing, go X-Wing. That's huge. Like it's huge.
That was. Oh gosh!
Forget about Legion. Go X-Wing.
Oh, I was so close. I was so close, Jay. But
I know, man. You did great. The stream game was amazing to watch. I had a good time watching.
It was crazy just playing it, and we're like throwing dice. Everything's blowing up. We're like, I don't know.
So there was a bunch of Legion guys that listened to the podcast that were all commenting on the stream. They were going, "Get back to work, Evan," and then like, "Go, Evan!" Like
never.
So, yeah. So you had
never
the 5th Trooper Legion out there.
That was cool. That was
So.
Yeah, that was a crazy day. And then, I went to, so that was day 1.
Yep.
Went and paid way too much money for chicken wings at a bar. Then day 2, playing Legion. In my first game, actually, so before I even get to that, I'm not going to bat rep it, but I'm just going to say, Brendan was our marshal.
Yep.
And that was a lot of fun.
We had marshal himself.
Made top 16 because only 16 of us showed up, baby.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that was so going in. We had known they did this weird thing up there where they closed it.
Like 3 weeks. It was only open for 3 weeks.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was way too short to get people to travel.
Yeah, and like you didn't even account for people that just are gonna show up, and like they like just closed registration like 2 weeks before the event, which I thought was very odd. It wasn't very well promoted.
Nope.
Clearly, barely. I think most of the people. So out of 16 people, we know of 6 that were from the U.S.
Yeah, you had to want to be there.
So
right, you had to know and want.
Was there any more? Because it was you, Luke, Paul, Matt, and JJ, and then I think there was one other person from the US. So 6. So then only 10 people were from Canada at the Canada National.
Yeah, it was a little weird, right?
National, yeah. So that's odd, but
so I'll put pictures up later. I plan on interviewing the people I played, just talking about their day, man. It'd just be like, hey, this is everybody's first Grand National.
Did you do that?
I got all their names. I didn't actually have time to do the...
See, everyone, this is why. This is why I had you tell him to get back to work. This right here. It never happened. This guy. He's out playing games. This is bull crap.
I was having a good time, dang it. So my first game was against a gentleman named Jeremy Garvin.
Okay.
He ran a triple tauntaun, the one thing.
God.
So his game was a lot of fun, but I wasn't thinking about it, so I gave him advanced positions.
Oh, God.
Right, so they get the free scout, and he goes, "Hey, is a scout maneuver considered a movement, standard movement?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Cool." So he does that, and then I'm like, he puts a dodge token down each of the 3 tauntauns, and I'm like, "Well, I made a mistake." So we were in the L, like we're like almost battle lines more or less.
Not like this.
Oh,
Not
dude.
like this.
Then he goes, Leia's 2 pip, and then he puts 2 on tauntauns, and he HQ uplinks the 3rd one. So now they have another inch, another one toward me, and they each have 2. Then he double move ram, so they have 4 dodges, and they ram me. Well, 2 ram, and then 1 couldn't fit, so he just shot at somebody. That was nuts. I was not prepared for that.
So if you guys haven't, we're not going to do a full breakdown again on Tauntauns. So yesterday I was on the Scoundrels again because David was off. We did a whole thing on Tauntauns yesterday. Talked all about them. If you want to hear more about Tauntauns, go listen to Scoundrels.
So he ended up like barraging me with those, and my dice 100% bailed me out of that. I was just like, Z6s go, 6 hits. I'm like, Z6s go, please. Like, I need this.
Dude, your Z6s. This guy was always playing Empire. He switches over to Rebels. I've never seen somebody roll so many rocks on Z6s. It's crazy.
Empires are built on hope, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, so I won't batter up the whole game, but that was really close. I ended up getting that one.
All right.
That was a lot of fun to play. Second game was against a gentleman named Les Nichols. He played Empire. He played Double Bounty. Okay. And he rocked me good. He pretty much tabled me.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was rough.
All right.
Actually, the coup de grace of the game was, so I had put Chewie into melee with Boba, 'cause Boba stinks in melee. Like, right. I'm like, all right, I'll just tie him up. Bosk moves up, charges, does like 2 damage or something. It was kind of low. Then he Reptilian Rampages next turn. 1-shots Chewie, charge, 1-shots Han. Han had like 2 damage on him, and he got the bounty, and I'm like, wow. And he was jazzed, and I was really, I'm like, I guess I lose. But that was a brilliant play. So cheers to you, sir. You rocked me like a hurricane. I was not ready for that.
He made top table, right?
Yeah, he was one of the undefeateds going into the 3rd round. I think he ended up definitely top 8. I don't know if he did top 4. Right. But he played
and just as a reminder, everybody, you were playing your A team list.
Oh yeah, I was playing my 4 heroes and 5 Z6s. Honestly though, my lesson of the day was snipers ate me alive. And I really couldn't, like, Chewie can only take so much. Yeah. And then it was just because snipers can even, my problem was like I don't have a cheap unit to go hold, like, babysit an objective. So if I had to, it was like key positions or intercept the transmissions. I didn't have like somebody who could just sit, like a sniper for 44 points can, like, Jay and I played tonight, and I changed my list and put snipers in, and man, it's nice to have 44 points to sit on something and shoot each turn, right?
Yeah.
But he did real well. He ended up going 2-1. He comes up to me, he's like, "Hey man, like, I came into here not expecting to win a game, and I'm 2-0." And I'm like, "You know what, man? That's awesome. Like, great." Because I was dice salty after that, because he was rocking me good. But I tried to recover, even though I do all this stuff. Like, you got to be in the moment. Like, man, I just saw I got knocked out, right? Like, that game was just like, you're out, bud. And my 3rd game was an Empire game against. He was playing Empire. It was Derek McKinnon. I'm killing your name. I'm sorry, my man. I know.
Evan and names. Oh,
Oh,
for
geez.
God's sake.
Hudson, Houston.
Oh, God.
And he played Empire, and it started real good. He had one boss. He had played Lying in Wait, and boss I think was like his last activation or close to it. He dinged Sabine for one already with a sniper, so she took a damage. I jumped up in heavy cover, and the next turn I was gonna rain down, throw grenades. It's gonna be great. Everyone's gonna have high five. And then he one shots her. he put 4 crits into Sabine, and I'm like, you know what? I'll take 1 or 2. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
4 blanks and a shield, and then she just disappears, and I'm like, oh, you won, right? Because she didn't even get to shoot or anything, right? Oh, it ended up being a pretty close game. He definitely had it. Like, it was after I lost 160 some points that didn't get to do it, and that's at that particular list I was running. She was half my command hand.
Right.
To see all that go away, like, it really crippled me. Han tanked like a boss. He rolled 2 like 11 shot DLTs into me, and Han like survived, and Chewie took it. It was crazy. Nuts variance game, but he got me. It was a good game. He ended up being 3rd off that.
Okay.
We were fighting for 3rd.
So Les was actually, he was top table round 3.
Yeah.
And he lost to Carl.
Okay.
And then it was Carl and Matt. For top table.
Yeah, man. It was he was I know he was undefeated going in, and no, that was a crazy game. Like, the whole day was fun. It was nuts. Yeah. Like, no Palpatines, no Lukes, no like, it was weird. Like, it was just nuts.
I mean, listen, Matt's a friend of ours from Miami. He won with it was a tank, 2 bikes, E-Web, some just like naked troopers, like in Veers, I think. It's just a ridiculous list. And so it sounded to me. So here's the thing too. Luke Cook was up there, the champion, the world champion, I guess, but it was really nationals. But the world champion Luke Cook was at the tournament too, and he actually ended up losing his first game.
Yeah, that was.
It sounded like just an odd overall event.
Dude, it was nuts. Like, when Luke came to me, he's like, "Yeah, I lost." I'm like, "Uh-oh." I'm like, I am not a great player, but I'm okay. Like, I'll make some good plays, and I'll try to think stuff out. Luke is definitely heads and shoulders better than me. When he's like, "Yeah, I lost," I'm like, oh my gosh, I guess this is bad. Right. This is trouble. But no, great day. Everyone was a blast to play against. We had a lot of listeners in the crowd. It was cool, man. It was a good time. I know I keep saying the same things over and over again. That was fun.
It was cool and a good time.
My one gripe was on the final table. Did you see what they set up for the final game?
No.
They didn't actually have like a Legion mat.
Yeah. I did see that. Yep.
And it was just on 2-star mats.
Should have gave him one of ours.
I didn't even know. I would have. Like,
right.
I left Saturday night. I would have normally stayed Sunday, but it was another hotel day, and we're like, yeah, man, let's just go.
So here's the winning list, because I know people are going to ask. General Veers, naked. Stormtrooper, naked. Stormtrooper, astromech droid. Stormtrooper, astromech droid. Scout Trooper Strike Team, Sniper. Scout Trooper Strike Team, so 3 of those. 3 sniper teams. An E-Web. 2 bikes with HQ uplink. And the Occupier tank with the 97C rifle. Imperial Hammers Elite Armor Pilot. And that's it. That was his list. That's a weird list. Matt, we love you, but that's a weird list, bro. It
was great. So at one point, it was like the table to decide who made the finals, right? It was like their game. Everyone's kind of watching. And it ended like in turn 5 to time or something. Or the other guy's like, "Nah, man, you got it." Like, they just conceded because he couldn't do it. And he's like, "Well, good," because the next turn, the key position was just like a flat piece of like grading. And the next turn, he's like, "I was going to put my tank here," and it covers the entire piece of terrain. You can't get to it. And he's like, "What do you do?" And Brendan's like, "Nothing. You just live on that now," and he can't get it. I'm like, yo. So that was the cool. Like, then not happening. The tank just ended up being a big turret, like taking stuff out. But I didn't even think of that. Like, the key position becomes like a flat grade or something. The tank just rolls on top. This is just where I live now.
It's crazy.
Good luck.
Yeah, so, I mean, looking to figure out, like, I think tanks could be hot. You just got to find the right list to build it around, What would you take? What do you think a good tank list is, Evan? So Veers,
That double tank list that's been going around
Yeah.
seems pretty good, actually.
that one seems crazy.
It's like double tank, and then the rest is just troopers or something. I think that looks pretty good. Honestly, after like I really started looking at the tank's stats, and it can be moving heavy cover, that's pretty cool. Like you got to look at it like so. Right in World War II, units would line behind tanks to use as cover to get up to the front lines. Like, why can't you do that? Like you touch it, you ignore it, right?
Yeah.
Or no, is it terrain?
No, yeah, it works the same way, I think.
Right?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure of the vehicle. Vehicle's a little weird, right? But I know
Yeah.
terrain if you touch and shoot. But using it to get your guys through like a big open corridor to give them heavy cover, and then so either they have to shoot through the tank to try to hit guys which are already 2 down, right, in red dice, or they shoot the tank with red dice. I don't know, tank. Dude, speeder bikes. The fact that speeder bikes won kind of gave me hope that there's some. I mean, speeder bikes kill tauntauns pretty okay.
Yep.
Right, they throw enough dice at them. Just another quick tauntaun killer. I know we talked about them a lot, but the Outriders brought up the airspeeder. Since it's immune to melee, it's got armor.
Yep.
And a good gun that can shoot down tauntauns. Airspeeder's the anti-meta, folks. You heard it at on the Outriders, but I'm just repeating it here. Airspeeder's the anti-tauntaun meta. But so a tank, a couple droids because droids are 8 points, like nothing for free extra hit points on a tank.
Yeah.
Like when I was running the ATST, I had two or three in there, and man, the tank's got red dice to roll instead of the white, so that's even worse. And with surge tokens coming out and being able to hand them out, tank that surges, like,
yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, maybe Nova's a stretch, but I think if looking at September, if the new core set comes out, it'll have aggressive tactics in it. So you pop aggressive tactics on Veers and start handing out surge tokens to tanks and some other stuff.
Dude, for
Oh,
real.
baby.
I'm excited to see where that goes. I'd like to see more tanks. I think it's a cool unit, and I don't like the fact that I think it when it came out felt a little DOA, just because of all the anti-vehicle, the impact stuff coming out. But same thing with the land speeder. Like, you know what? A tank won first place in an event, and everybody else just had infantry and anti-infantry, and a tank just got to kind of do whatever it wanted to do, right? That's saying something. So if the meta is infantry, being that wild card that brings a land speeder, not bad, right? Yeah. Like, that's pretty okay. So I thought about bringing the lance. I love the land speeder. I think it's a great unit. It's just expensive. Like you gotta bring like a cheap unit and something else with it. And I don't really like any of the rebel cheap units. Leia's fine, just not what I want. Like they don't have that cool cheap guy. Like Han's 120, but he's not like a Krennic or Veers for 80 or 90, right? And if you have Han, you really want Chewie, and that just like it all starts adding up. But it's a good Han delivery system. I think that's pretty good. But tank. I'm rambling.
No, that's okay. I what I'm saying is I think there is a potential for tank. You know.
No, I 100% think so.
Yeah, I think tank is double tank. I'm still playing with tank lists, trying to figure out how to fit them in and work them out. But I think there's opportunity there because you know what, tanks don't care about tauntauns for sure.
They sure don't. Tauntauns don't have any impact, so they can just run roughhouse on tauntauns.
Right, unless they get to your side, right?
Yo, the lizard's back. So one of our friends is just like, yo, boss, because Pierce won on his melee, tanks have impact on the side, so would boss just like rip parts off of it with his little lizard hands? And so he was talking about like running in, like charging, and then running back behind a wall to heal. And so I can see the hammer pilots driving the tank. They see boss coming with like arms waving in the air, like, oh geez, lizard's back, get the sticks out. So they give him the sticks until he leaves.
No elbows, like
yeah, right. Sticks out, so they they knock him away until he like runs behind a wall, and he comes back after he heals. He's like, oh, the lizard's back again, quick, get the sticks. Like the sticks that the Tauntaun riders are using, like just get him out of here. I think that would be really cool and funny. But no, man, I really think like, a guy brought a list who had nothing but things that everyone said were not great, and he won. Like that's positive.
Right, everyone hates the E-Webs. Everyone says speeder bikes are bad now. I think if I had to guess, based on what I saw of the other lists and everything that was at the Canada Grand Championship, is that I don't think anybody had any answers for that kind of vehicle
No, I didn't.
oppression.
My list sure didn't. I'm like, let's hope Sabine's sword can kill a whole tank, right? That's not really
Right.
how that works. Yeah, I sure didn't have an answer. I can tell you that. And so I changed my list. I'm still kind of flattening it out what I'm going to bring to
Yeah.
Nova.
Everybody is. Kyle was talking about that yesterday on Scoundrels. Like, I think he's down to 2 or 3 lists, and he still doesn't know which one he's bringing.
But I'm down to like 1. I think it's what we played tonight. I think it's probably fine. Like at this point, I'm just going for like fine, because my last list was really good until I ran into like. So a problem is none of us in the area really play the heavy snipers anymore. It kind of became everyone with sabs or to not play them. So it kind of, I didn't ever go against a real heavy sniper list. So when I ran into 2 or 3 of them, that was a problem.
Yeah.
That was a real problem. And man, I got picked alive. Like,
Well, and knowing you and your playstyle, you're super aggressive, and so you put yourself in a position where they were probably creating fire lanes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember my last game. I really missed snipers when I wanted to have something cheap that could sit in an objective that no one was going to contest, right? Like,
Yeah.
you do intercept, you fight over one of them, each of you takes one, and but his sniper got to sit on his and just like plink me every turn. I had to dedicate a whole Z6 to get that point squad. That's 66 compared to 44.
Right.
And I don't have infinite range. He does. Like, right, there's things going back and forth, so that made me be like, you know what, I'll bring him. Like, it's 2 activations for 1, like, almost, right?
Okay, so I'll say this for everyone listening out there, like, I don't think your problem was that you didn't have snipers. I think your problem was that you had so many points tied up in heroes that you didn't have enough points, like, where a couple sniper shots wouldn't have mattered. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything in that list is important. And so once you start dropping stuff, then that's when it starts turning on you.
Yeah, that was no, it definitely was like bad. Like, everyone knew Han, like everybody had Han pegged. Like, I was running Reckless Diversion and Change of Plans, so he would die. The Tauntaun raced across the map to ram Han immediately, and I'm like, so he rammed Han, and then the triple Tauntaun man was very smart. Then he like did the backup reverse so he could do a full ram on somebody else. And then Han tried to run, and they shot him in the back. Like, it was just like this terrible scene. I'm like, they're everywhere. I don't even know where the shots are coming from. As Tauntaun's just causing havoc in my gun line. Like, it was funny. It was really like, it was an entertaining game. I gotta say, I haven't had that much fun in a while. I'm just like, wait, how many dodges do you have? Well, you picked that one. You let that one go. I played her 2-pip, and I moved twice. That's 4. And I'm like, oh no, I've made a grave error.
Yeah.
So, and then Chewie couldn't punch one out, and it was just comically bad.
Spoiler alert, Tauntauns are good.
Yeah, no, they're fine, man. It's actually what I threw me for a loop, because I've been on the Tauntauns are fine train. Like, yeah, they're fine. When the dewbacks come out, it'll be whatever, right? You got Tauntauns versus dewback fights, like,
If the dewback.
yeah, if
I'm just kidding.
if.
They're coming. They just gotta get new bases.
But the fact that when infantry are engaged with the Tauntaun, they're considered engaged, but the Tauntaun is not. It's not like vehicles where like neither of you are really engaged, right? You're melee range and you can punch if you've got it, but you're not. You can just leave if you want. You can't leave the Tauntaun, but the Tauntaun can just do like a 360 no scope and take off, right? Just go ram something else. Like, I was like, he broke my lines, man. That was, and it's what I want though. Like, I've always wanted infantry in a game. I used to want infantry in War Machines.
Yeah.
I played the Retribution, which are like the tech elves. But the infantry were $100 a box, and you only got like 3 or 4 of them, and you needed like 3 of those boxes, so that's $300 in cavalry. Or I could spend $25 in Legion to get Tauntauns, or $30.
Right.
Like, okay, like, sorry, I guess I'll try that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we were talking about this months and months ago, early on in the podcast, where you wanted speeder bikes because you always wanted cavalry, right? Like,
Yep.
That was your big thing with speeder bikes. Well, you're playing Rebels now.
Yep, there
you
they
have
go.
legit cavalry.
Yeah, and I actually think, it's funny. So there's 3 of us, only 4 Rebel players there that day.
Can I say something really quick?
Shoot.
little announcement for everyone out there. This just hit my brain. So, Evan said melee a bunch of times.
Melee?
I say melee.
Oh, crap.
We all say melee. Someone yelled at us on numerous occasions that it's melee.
Melee.
Melee. Guess what? Guess what we're gonna do? Whatever we want. So
This is what broke you?
yeah. So suck it. Take that, guy who corrected me.
You good?
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it was
You know what? No, I'm not good. I'm gonna find that guy and I'm gonna
give him
a stern talk.
a Shalansky shellacking.
About melee versus melee. I'll do what I want. I'm just kidding.
You good?
Just don't open your front door. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, Canada was a blast. I'm hoping that Nova will also be a blast. I mean, there's no new units coming out between now and Nova.
No, not between. While you guys are at Nova, I think short troopers are going to come out.
And I talked to a few people I talked to who I wanted to do, the 3 gentlemen I played. I wanted to do like a quick 15-minute interview thing. If you're listening to this, it'll be next week sometime.
We'll get a hold of you.
Yeah, I just don't, I got to go to Nova this week. I just don't have time. But I'm still thinking about you.
Everyone out there in podcast land, I just want you to remember this. This is why we tell Evan to get to work. Evan promised interviews and pictures.
I promised the world. I actually did get all the pictures.
In a slideshow. And what do we have today? Nothing.
But my phone's full of pictures, Mr. J. I got all the big scoops.
We got all nothing.
I got all the scoops you need.
And this, folks, is why we tell Evan to get back to work.
Yeah.
You'll get back to work is what you'll do.
Yeah. Fair, okay? Jeez. Just relax, okay? Just take it easy.
Never. All right. So that was Canada and Nova. Why don't we go into some nonsense now?
Do it.
What are they talking about?
All right, this is the segment where we go off topic. We did this a few weeks ago, and we figured since it's a little bit of a slow week, we'll do it again. So I have a couple things that I'd like to talk about. Evan, what about you? What do you got? What's going on in Evan's world outside of Legion?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Nova? So everything outside of Nova.
Dang it, Evan. That's outside of Legion.
Just coming right back. Nova's just...
You know what your problem is? You don't listen.
But I'm working, Mr. J.
You're fired. You're fired.
No, not again. Mostly just to get to go to Nova and hang out. I'm playing Underworlds. I really love Underworlds. If you're looking for a side game to play to Legion or X-Wing, Warhammer Underworlds, man, I could go on for that game for a while. That's really choice. But I don't know, after that, after this, man, I got home. I bought Age of Wonders Planetfall a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I really just want to play it, but I have had 0 time to play it.
Mm-hmm.
You good?
Yeah. For those of you listening, I was just standing up to look at something by Evan. So there's this game. I was just thinking about what games, when you were mentioning that, I'm like, oh man, what games did I want to play? And it's this Dice Throne. So this Kickstarter I got, I forgot, a friend of mine had Dice Throne Season 1. I really enjoyed it. So I kickstarted Season 2, which came with Season 1 as well. And basically it's like a card game where you're battling back and forth, and I thought it might be a fun game to get Evan playing so that you get some dice and you get a deck of cards and you roll the dice, and depending on what the dice do, that's what you can do, and you kind of fight each other. Magic style, but with some other stuff. But yeah, I think that would be an interesting game for us to try, Evan, and play.
Evan.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, for folks who know, we have a third podcast. So we have Scoundrels, this podcast, and then we have a podcast called Crunch and Chaos. For a while there, we were mostly talking Keyforge, but the intent of that podcast was always to talk about all kinds of games. So starting in the next week or two, Evan and I are going to pick that back up.
Oh yeah, yep.
And it's going to be about half an hour podcast, and we're going to talk about games that we're playing, and maybe even do like learn to plays, or like, hey, here's how you play this game. And we might do some other stuff with that, but that'll be the beginning where we, listen, we're not, as many of you, I'm sure, aren't just Legion players. We're not just Legion players. I have literally shelves and shelves of board games I've kickstarted in the other room, and I'd love to be able to talk about some of those and really share them with you guys, and outside of, we know that this podcast is geared just towards Legion, but like outside of this podcast, and be able to talk about other games too.
Yeah. No, I mean,
And Warhammer
Underworlds
is one of them that we want to do.
I would the new Dead Fane, like, actually that's a good way for you to start, even just trying it out.
Yeah.
They make a 2-player, 2 decks that are faction specific that are good. So TLDR, a lot of generic cards are really good. Faction specific cards aren't always the best, but they should be a little bit better.
TLDR, for those of you not know, that means too long didn't read. So he's going to give you a little.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's. Yep. All right. Cool. We're
He's
going to
give you
explain
a
it.
little short peek at what he really wants to say, instead of just saying what he really wants to say. He's going to TLDR you right now.
All right. Well,
Are you ready to get TLDR'd, everybody?
look.
Because here it comes.
Look.
This is going to be way too long, and he doesn't want to talk on a format where all we do is talk. So he's going to give you the short version. Let's hear the short version, Evan.
The decks are good. They're fine. They're extra fine. It's a good starter set to learn, huh?
What was the name of the game?
You know what? You can go back in when you edit it. You can listen to it then. All right. What's Jay got to say, huh? I bring up something good.
Oh God. Let's see. Jay has the new Star Wars Episode 9 trailer. I guess you could call it a trailer. I guess it was a Star Wars retrospective with a trailer at the end. That was interesting.
Oh yeah. So in case you're dodging it.
Don't listen.
Yeah. In case you're dodging it.
Spoiler warning?
I guess. So the problem was, okay, skip ahead like a minute. We're going to 30 seconds or something. Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes. Who knows at this point? But if you don't want to know, just stop listening now.
To the trailer. Yeah. So the article, all the articles began. So I got like my phone gives me like news things I might be interested in. You go, is Rey going dark side in the latest trailer? And
yeah.
I'm like, what? And so I click it, and it's showing her the 2 sabers. I'm like, wow, I really didn't want to see this because I want it to be a surprise in the movie.
Yeah.
And everyone, if you haven't seen it yet, if you're in a Star Wars group and no one's posted it, congratulations, you've got a good group. Like, right?
But now we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, right.
So
like
if you're still listening and you don't want to know, you're real dumb.
Yeah,
so stop listening right now.
That's So that was a surprise.
Here's my thing. I don't think it's what everybody thinks it's going to be. J.J. Abrams does this with that mystery box crap that he always does, where it's, I think he throws it in there as kind of like to throw you off the scent, and then you're like, wait, what's going on?
I mean, look, like Luke had his scene where he went into the cave and he saw himself in Darth Vader's mask, and like Rey did the same thing in that black hole in Last Jedi, right? She did like snap, and then like it was
just
like,
saw herself.
because maybe that just means herself is dark, whatever, right? Like it's probably just that, but to that point, it was like I really didn't want to. Kind of crappy just to have like the article just be like, and here's the big thing from that trailer release, right? Like have a little tact when you're writing articles about this stuff, to like, you could say something like new surprise in trailer, and I can choose to go, okay, I will engage on this bit. But when you go, Rey's going dark side,
right?
Like,
or
okay.
or big surprise, like in the recent trailer, then it's like, I'm gonna pass on this one.
Right?
But so it also had some more scenes, which was cool. Rey and Kylo fighting. That part was neat. I loved how it looked. More voiceover from the Emperor, which is interesting.
I just love how he just loves being evil, right? Like it's so good.
So I'd love to do some theories right now. So for those of you I'll tell you right now, we got about 15 or 20 minutes left in the episode. I'm going to go ahead and start talking Star Wars Episode 9 theories. If you don't want to listen, I completely understand. You're not going to miss anything else in this episode. I promise we're not going to talk about anything important or anything Legion. I'm literally just going to talk about the new movie now and all the different potential things that I've heard that it could be. So I'm going to give you to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, well, now that those losers are gone, everybody, let's talk some Legion. Just kidding. So here's one theory I read online is that, and I don't know that the trailer didn't really back this up in any way, but I just thought it was an interesting theory, is that Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, has known about the Emperor for a long time and is actually faking being on the dark side so that he can track down the Emperor and bring him out of hiding or wherever or whatever he is doing so that he can kill him for good.
That'd be super cool, because that used to be a that was in Knights of the Old Republic, the MMO. You could go Sith, like you're right, you go Sith or Jedi, and I went Sith. I did Sith and Force, like the tank, but I did all the good choices. And at first I'm like, I don't know, we'll see what happens, and then eventually it gets to the part where one of the characters goes, let's go do some Sithy things. It's like, no, we're Jedi, and we're just masquerading as Sith, and the Empire's gonna be led by the Jedi, not the Sith, and we're gonna do it from the inside, and we gotta keep. I'm like, blew my mind. I'm like, what? That's so cool, right? Like,
yeah,
having the power to do that. So that was really neat. So to see that in a movie would be super dope.
Yeah, and I mean, I think before Last Jedi came out, I for sure thought that Rey and Kylo were going to switch. Like, I thought Rey was going to become a Sith and Kylo was going to go back to Ben and be a Jedi again. And they've kind of been teasing that for us, especially with this new Rey reveal thing. But, like, it just doesn't seem plausible at this point.
Yeah.
Like, the only way I could see it, okay, here's another, perhaps, something that may happen in the movie, is what about this? What if Palpatine could, like, inhabit people? Because wasn't there something in the extended universe where, I forgot who it was, but one of the Sith, Force, whatever, I guess they're not Force ghosts, but a remnant of a Sith, like, inhabited somebody, I think it was Vader's body at one point.
Maybe in the extended canon. I know from what in the old EU, it was like Jedi ghosts could go anywhere, like just they show up anywhere they want. Sith ghosts could only show up where they died. They used to be the old. That's why when they heard Palpatine laugh and you see parts of the dead Death Star on a planet, you're like, I don't know if that's still how they are gonna do it. I'm pretty big into the current stuff. Like, I read all the current books. I listen to them on audiobook. They haven't really mentioned any rules like that yet of how Siths work.
Yeah, so I guess what I was thinking was, like, what if he could inhabit other bodies and he's, like, looking for a host to take over?
That'd be. I mean, he was very powerful.
Like maybe he was actually inhabiting Snoke's body, and maybe he could inhabit Rey. Like, we don't know. We have no
that'd be
idea.
interesting.
Yeah, man,
I just really want Rey to go dark and Kylo to go, like, just do a flip flop. Like, man, that the throne room scene was so cool, and at the end when he's holding his hand, I'm like, just do it, just both go evil, or they both end up gray or something. I don't know.
Well, so Evan and I were talking about this earlier too. Like, I was like, man, I thought, like, here's a storyline for you guys. Last Jedi, right? At that battle, Rey ends up going with Kylo and goes, "You're right. Let's throw the past behind us. Let's take over." And then what happens is, in this movie, this is not happening now, clearly, but this is what I would love to have happened, where she goes dark with him, but then in this movie, like, she's too dark, like, and she starts going way dark, and then he's still, like, fighting the light, and then he finally turns back to the light, and then they reverse. That's what I thought would have been great going into Last Jedi, but that's clearly not the case now.
Yeah, all these little trailers and bits, I'm getting frustrated because I'm sick of seeing it. I just want to see this movie.
Yeah.
I want to go in and just be surprised and enjoy it.
Yeah, what, like 3 more months?
December 20th, I think.
Yeah, 4 more months.
That's really far away. Like, I feel like the Mandalorian, the Mandalorian trailer released over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, let's switch gears to Mandalorian. Holy crap. That looks amazing.
Do you see the Topps trading cards for the trailer? I got trading cards for the trailer.
Oh man.
I'm like, the worst part was it's like $10 and you get the case and the cards. I'm like, I could make a collage out of that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, geez, no, Evan, it's for the trailer, man. It's not even for like the movie.
Dude,
like,
that looks leaps and bounds beyond what I thought was going to happen. That looks way more in the vein of like Rogue One and the original trilogies. Like, I am so stoked for that. That IG, I think it's an IG
88. Oh, an IG 20?
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think it's IG 88. I think it's like an IG 20, but man, that looked amazing with him spinning around shooting stuff. And oh my God.
I just love the dark. Like, you know, when you're watching the trailer, like everything's very crisp and clean.
Yeah.
Like when a spaceship's flying, it's just these wide panoramic Samurai Jack type shots where it's very just open. You see like a small thing, you get to take it in. Like the stormtroopers' helmets, like everything's very like crisp, clean.
Yeah.
They honestly, at this point, I'm so hyped for this. Like, they would have to phenomenally mess this up for me not to enjoy this.
Well, all the directors and writers and everybody who are on board are all like top notch, like amazing writer directors. So it's just gonna be great.
I'm super stoked.
Disney Plus is absolutely getting all of my money.
Oh, did you see the Disney Plus thing they're doing?
With Hulu and ESPN.
Yeah, you get ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu with ads for like $13 a month.
That's not bad.
No, so I might do it because they get some of the UFC fights on ESPN Plus. And as Paul, one of our listeners and guys who beats me every time he sees me, he actually went 2-1.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he did real good. Like, he got top 8. I was really proud of him, man. He did a really good job.
Paul's a good player.
Yeah. Seeing him win, but he's always like, "Hey, will you watch the fight?" And I remember when he was up here for the Neo Open, he's like, "We're at the party." He's like, "Yo, let's ditch this place and go watch the fight." And I'm like, "Oh man, I really do want to go watch that fight." It was like Jones versus somebody, I think, at the time. But I'd worked through a lot that day, so I'm like, "No, man, I gotta just go sleep. I'm burned." But no, I was. It's a good deal, so I'll probably do that for a month and then just burn through the Mandalorian. But then the Obi-Wan movie, the show is like hard confirmed now. And then they'll have the Cassian Andor show. Like, they've got me for a few shows.
And
here.
they have Obi. I knew it. So
Obi
like,
and Cassian,
when I was on Krabick last week, and I thought that there was a written thing that Ewan McGregor was signed on,
like
and then
now,
the Krabick was like, I don't know if that's been confirmed. And then they at the D20 Expo or whatever, they hard confirmed it, which. Oh my God. And then they put out that timeline.
Dude.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Like, I can't wait. Like, I'm going to be honest. I'm real happy. It seems like the TV show route that they're doing, even with the Marvel stuff, is going to be so good. Like, I don't know if a lot of you, like, listen, there's a lot of white noise out there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bad TV. Don't get me wrong. But there's certain things that just do way better in long form storytelling.
Yeah. Like Lord of the Rings is going to be good.
Yeah. And like The Boys,
yeah.
to circle back around to that,
yeah.
like that is really good. And it's just Amazon TV series, you know, I think it was 8-9 episodes, something like that.
Yeah.
But man, that was fantastic. And for those of you wondering, The Boys is basically, they asked the question, what if the Justice League existed and what if they were corrupt?
Yeah, well, they're jerks, or what if they were people and not gods?
Yeah.
Right. Like they were just
not
kind of
right. I said corrupt,
people.
but not technically evil, but not technically good either.
Not great. Yeah, they're just dudes who have superpowers, right? Like, and what happens when people get sick of it, right? I remember seeing the Boys comic a long time ago, and then
that thing is dark.
One of my buddies was telling me to read it, and I'm like. Cool, I'd love to if I had time, right? Like, it just circled around my pile of media I'll never get to. And then they made the show. I'm like, I could probably find an hour a night or something to like watch a show.
Speaking of comic books, here's another topic. I know we're all over the place, everybody, but you know what? Whatever. I haven't read comics in a long, long time. Recently, I got some deal through Amazon for Comixology where I got it for like nothing. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, yeah, I'd love to catch up on some stuff and just see what's going out there. And like, I'm an artist, and so like I love I love looking at the art. I always have since I was a kid. And then, the storyline is just a bonus for me. But I got into Batman The Last Night.
Okay.
Dude, so good. It's like basically some sort of apocalypse hits the earth, right? And like a lot of heroes, villains, like everything are dead, and like it's just Batman in like the Joker in like Joker's head in like a jar, like traversing the wasteland that is Earth now, like trying to figure out what happened. Oh
Yeah.
man, so good.
I mean, so last thing I really read, I used to read Hellblazer that was my only one.
Yeah.
And then I was reading the current Batman line Until the Wedding. And then when they're like, you've got to read these other 8 comics to figure out what's going on in the way, I'm like, I'm good. I'll pass.
Yeah, those are tough. I like, I definitely dig the ones that are all self-contained storylines,
Yeah, one-offs used to be my thing, man. I used to love those. Lately, I only really have time to follow. I follow One Punch Man because the manga comes out once every like 3 months. My Hero Academia comes out once every 2 months. Like, I can do those two because I can walk into Barnes and Nobles or something and get it for $10, and then I pound through it in a night, and then like I'm up to date with what's going on.
Yep.
Those are the only two I get to really follow. I'd love to get into comics again. It's just the chase, man. As soon as I start doing you got to read these other issues to figure out what's going on. I love the idea of the cross-platform idea of that. Like, hey, if you were already reading all these, it's cool, right? You're in the inside. But if I'm just reading Batman, and I remember when that came out, they handed me a card after I bought a Batman comic, and they had to tell me everything I had to read. I'm like, I think I'm good. I heard, speaking of comics and Star Wars, I heard is Marvel done doing Star Wars comics
Their
soon?
Star Wars run is done.
I heard something like that.
Yeah.
Which is too bad because those are great, man.
Yeah.
Even the Thrawn ones were interesting because it was just the retelling of the book in comic form of like the key points. That was really cool, and I got those. Those would be something I'd love to get signed and just keep for myself because, man, the books, if you haven't got a chance to read the last Thrawn book, Thrawn Treason, that was phenomenal. I just finished Master and Apprentice. That was the Qui-Gon Jinn Obi-Wan book. That was really great too. Actually, that surprised me how good that was. And then now I'm on to I'm out of current Star Wars books. I'm waiting there's a new one coming that's what happened to Obi-Wan between like the time I'm assuming it might be a lead up to the show, from when he like went into hiding. And it's him with like his backpack full of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
So I got that in the back burner. That's coming. I just started reading some Warhammer Fantasy Old World books, the Slayer series with Felix, like a poet and one of the Slayers. Those are excellent too. Like audiobooks are my main consumption of media because I can listen to it while I drive my 45 to one way to work.
Yeah, I like that's the one thing I've always loved about like when we travel for stuff. Like last year, the family went on a trip and I do audiobooks every time I do big trips like that, and we did Ready Player One. Dang, that was good, man. Ready Player One audiobook. The book is fantastic too, but the audiobook is really great too. It's narrated by Will Wheaton. And it's funny because like I know it's nerdy, but I kind of caught myself laughing because Will Wheaton in the Ready Player One world is actually the president.
Huh.
And so like he has to
Plays
talk
himself,
about himself
yeah.
inside, like it's really good. So Ready Player One, much different than the movie. If you haven't read the book, you've only watched the movie. The book is way more. So the movie was more geared towards like kids of today.
Yeah.
The book is more geared towards us, where it's like D&D and like Atari and like arcades and
yeah.
Matthew Broderick movies and Back to the Future and
Yeah.
like all this amazing stuff.
We're Jay's getting this new like office studio built, and I keep thinking like you mentioned arcade, and I'm like, oh man, I've got like there's that 1-Up cabinet coming out, the Star Wars themes I gotta get pre-ordered for us so we can just have it in there. I've got this arcade cabinet built with a 2-player stick. I'm like, I can't make your room into an arcade. That's not what it's there for.
Yes,
but, like,
you can. You do whatever you want. Buddy.
Just load it up full of like cool arcade machines. Like that's what I'm gonna miss when everything kind of comes and goes is arcades. Like being able to meet your friends in a spot and just have like I used to play Pump It Up. This year's me talking about nostalgia stuff. Pump It Up. Then there's a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 machine next to it, so it'd be like rotating
Yep.
in and out like that. Like I feel bad that a lot of people who are really into the media won't ever get that kind of experience like that, because that was always fun.
Yeah, those are. I mean, they're still kind of around with like the Dave and Buster's of
yeah,
the world, but
but
it's different.
Yeah, it's not the same.
No.
It's not a dirty arcade that like you went to after school or after college. That like not dirty's not the reason you went, but it was like just the machines your favorite were in the back, like having fighting game tournaments where people are putting quarters on stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Here another side tangent since you're talking about this. So I had this great talk with my son the other day. He was telling me he's going through the Master Chief collection on Xbox. He got the whole collection. And he's starting with Halo 1. And he knows that I play games. And he's like, Dad, wait, you were telling me a story. That's where you started. I said, yeah, we used to have the first Xbox. And I told him, my roommate and I would have these parties.
Ourselves. Holy crap.
Yeah, and we would get 4 Xboxes in there. You'd have 4 people on every Xbox. You'd hook it up to the LAN
party,
so you could have 16 players on Halo, and you could play Halo matches. That's how we used to play multiplayer. And he, it was funny, and I was telling him about, that's how we used to do Jedi Academy too.
Yep.
Right? You would go to LAN parties at these like computer places. You all hooked to the LAN.
Yep.
You'd bring your rig. And then you would play Jedi Academy too. That's these big multiplayer. And it was so funny because he's listening to me talk about that. He goes, Dad, that sounds like so much fun. And I was like, it was fun. He goes, like, you guys could just all hang out and like have a party.
Yep.
And like, I go, yeah, we used to have pizza and like sodas and we'd have other people over. Like, so it wouldn't just be the 16 people playing. We'd have like 20, 25 people there. We'd all switch on and off. Every room would have a TV and an Xbox in it or a computer. And
my friends used to send their girlfriends in to Screen Peek. So playing things like they're on the hill. You hear someone run and scream. They're like, they're on the hill. They're on the hill.
Yeah. And like it was interesting. So the reason I was going this way is because you were talking about arcades. Like it's funny because all the kids have gone to online and like like even our kids are like, oh no, I don't need to hang out with him. We hang out online every day. But I'm starting to sense in them like this kind of like this thirst for human interaction and like in-person contact. And so it's interesting that he was like, LAN parties sound awesome, Dad. Like,
yeah, it's funny you say that. One of my friends growing up, James, I remember I got a bag of quarters. I turned my lawnmower money into quarters one time, and we went to an arcade, and there was the Dungeons and Dragons Shadow of something. Name forgets me. It's you can get the 2 games right now. They're action beat 'em ups where you leveled up a character and you played through. That was Capcom made them. We brought the bag of quarters in and we played in the arcade machine like for like 3 hours. It was in the movie theater, so we didn't even go see a movie. We put like $20 into this machine to beat it. Yeah, and we killed the red dragon. And the big thing about the red dragon is there's like a split path in that game, and you go, yes, go to the red dragon. And you go, yeah, I want to go kill it. He goes, are you sure? Yes. Are you positive? Yes. It kills you in one hit. You're like, it's gonna eat your quarters, right? So we did it, and if you beat him, there's a red dragon that flew next to your name, and we're like, yeah, high fiving, right? Because we love Dungeons and Dragons, we love this game. So it turns out to turn off at night, they just unplugged it, and it just resets it.
Oh.
Yeah, so all that work. But then, where I'm bringing this all around is they released it as a downloadable game, and you can play over Xbox Live. And so, it was a couple of months ago, we were playing it over Xbox Live again, and I'm like, hey, do you remember the time we, did this? And it was like a cool, weird like moment where it's like, because he lives in upstate New York, like Plattsburgh. I live in Syracuse, for about 4 or 5 hours away, and Xbox is our only real way. We don't call each other and talk on the phone. We get on Xbox Live and talk to each other. Same thing, just we play a game while we're talking, right? And it was just very like, I don't want to say humbling, but it was just like, this is just the way it is now. I got that like, the age hit me, right? Where I'm like, age and just how life is now. It's like, you know what? This is really the only way we're going to get to play games like this.
Dude, it's so funny you mentioned that because I think I said something to you like, the kids like are talking about like I listen, I feel like I'm pretty up on board games and like video games and movie culture and like all this culture. I literally heard the kids talking about something the other day. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, this is funny meme. And I'm like, oh man, like I'm like, well, that's it.
I'm old now.
It's all gone now. All my childhood, like every ounce of youth I had is gone. This is old man Jay from now on.
I'll never ever give up my memes. That's all I got left.
I'm old man Jay. I have no idea. Like,
What are you kids playing? Is that Fortnite?
oh god, I hate that game.
All your kids love it.
It's such a weird thing, you know, because like I was thinking about this, like it was a cultural phenomenon there for a while, right? Like everybody was playing Fortnite, and then I was talking to my son about it, and like Minecraft for streaming and everything has skyrocketed again. So everybody's playing Minecraft now.
Yeah.
And it's like these things go fly by night, but like for some reason, Fortnite in particular, and this is old man Jay talking, like somehow messed with the kids. Like kids of like between 10 and 14, it messes with their heads somehow. Like no other game I've ever seen where it creates these monsters out of these kids just when they play that game. They literally play Minecraft, anything else. Completely cool. They play Fortnite and they like lose their freaking brains. And I don't understand what it is about that game in particular, because we've had battle royales before. We've had this stuff. Like, listen, I don't play Fortnite. I don't care to. It interests me zero. Like PUBG, none of that interests me on any level. It's just interesting why that game in particular somehow reaches in and rips out their souls, and I don't know why.
It's weird. Well, it's free, so everybody can get it. There's no paywall for a kid to get it, right? You don't have to wait for dad to give me $60 to play the next Halo. It's competitive because you want to do well with your friends. I don't like how. So I'm very outspoken about how much I don't like microtransactions, but if you're still listening, they're stupid. They suck.
Dude,
they steal your soul.
You know, and you people at home should know this. I'm a Star Wars nut.
Yeah.
Love Star Wars. I literally never bought Battlefront 2 because I refused because of the paywall stuff. I'm like, I'm never doing this.
I lied to myself and said it wasn't a problem until I just
I knew it was a problem going in, and
then I tried and I just couldn't get through it.
I refused to let them sully something I love so much, so that
they ruined it. I hear it's good now, but it's like no one's playing anymore. Yeah, it's gone, right? So I heard like kids make fun of like an insult for kids now who play is called calling someone default as a default skin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of crappy, and that's like, hey, you didn't put money into this game, right? And that's real.
Well,
like
it's not
crappy.
just that. It's that, but it's also you haven't earned anything yet either, so you still have the default like clothing that you started with, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't a new concept. So this is actually, it's funny you brought that up, because in Ready Player One, when you go into the Oasis, in Ready Player One, like there's this large virtual reality world, right? It's like the internet, in Xbox, and all this stuff rolled up into one. But it's like you go in virtual reality, and it's like crazy. But like the main character, Wade, he's actually in default clothing, and he gets made fun of all the time because he hasn't been able to upgrade his clothing. So this is something that's been going on for a long time. And it's just now calling it default as an insult.
It's a little more insidious when when there's microtransactions hidden behind
completely.
Right?
Yeah, these kids get crazy. Like I can't even tell you how much money, and it's not my money. Like our kids' birthday money, like they get money from their grandparents or a relative or some, or even us. They put it right into Fortnite.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's very insidious, and I was really hoping legislation would come and like call it gambling or do something, right?
I think it's coming,
because they're like, right, and what people are doing now, what companies are, they'll release the game without them, let the reviewers get be like, hey, Crash Racing Nitro is fine, it's cool, and then after all the reviews go through, they slowly slip in microtransactions afterwards, so you don't get the warning. You like some people, man. I was playing Overwatch. I would log on, put $20 to $30 into the loot boxes, try to get the skin for the holiday season, not even play the game, not get it, or get it and be like, cool, and just log off. That's a problem. Right. Oh, I did that for like two of the events in a row. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, as much as I love Overwatch, like I don't play it anymore. Why am I putting money into this?
Yeah, and for me, it's funny. In my older age, I've kind of moved away from online play. Like I used to love online play, like Call of Duty, Halo, like all that stuff. Loved it. I used to be really, really good at some of them. And actually, Force Unleashed 2,
Yeah.
I was so proud of this. It's just ridiculous at this point. But for 6 months, I was ranked. They had all these online missions where speed rounds for how many you could kill, blah 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 blah. And I was ranked 1 or 2 in the world for those for a long time. And every time somebody would top me, I'd go back in and beat it.
Yeah,
it's stupid. It was ridiculous. It got me nothing. It meant nothing. It was fun for me at the time.
That's what it was.
So where I was going was I've actually moved. I love just single player games where I'm just by myself, just doing that Spider-Man game for PS4. I loved that game. Red Dead Redemption 2 was amazing. No Man's Sky. Man, they just made another update to No Man's Sky for free again. That game is amazing. If any of you who are into gaming, if you don't know No Man's Sky,
it is amazing now.
It's amazing now.
Got all the updates.
It's an open universe sandbox where everything is procedurally generated. So no 2 planets are the same. No 2 galaxies are the same. This place has billions and billions and billions and quad billion, trillion, bazillion planets and solar systems. It's a full universe, and you can just warp around, and you can build fleets, and you can get ships, and you can build a base on a planet. The last couple of updates have made it way better, but the new one Beyond that just came out, it is an excellent game.
Yeah, it's very. I'm glad they kept their promise to hey, when it came out, it caught a lot of hot heat. One man's lie, no man buy.
I don't know I don't know if it was a lie, but he was just so he was just so happy and excited to bring it to everyone, and I think he just went overboard.
Sony
promising stuff.
Yeah, I watched a good breakdown. We're getting crazy. We're all over the place right now, but watch a breakdown of.
Listen, they stopped listening a long time ago.
That's fair. A breakdown of this guy. Sony put them on stage probably incorrectly, right? Because the game wasn't ready for that big a show back at E3 3 or 4 years ago now. I remember talking about it, be like, "Oh, have you seen No Man's Sky? I can't wait for this game. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be great." All the stuff they said about it, and then this guy was just nervous, man. He was just will there be multiplayer? He's like, yes, right. And then when it all kind of came down, it was just bad. It was bad all around. I think a lot of balls were dropped. I don't put everything on that one guy.
And basically, to simplify it for those of you that didn't follow this, was that when he talked about the game in the demos, they showed the game. It's what the game was eventually going to be. And what we got on day 1 launch was a poor man's version of that.
Oh, it just wasn't anything they
I will
said.
say it was still fun, and I still loved playing it. I didn't have any problems with it. It was still interesting, because I'm more of an exploring guy. I didn't care so much about the multiplayer. I just love... You know what I love? You know what's easy for me now in life? Is to just be able to open something and just play.
Yeah. Not with your day 1 update.
Right. Do you know what I mean? Like Grand Theft Auto Online. You just do whatever you want. You get on, you do whatever you want. You could go cruising, you can go exploring, you can go shooting, you can race, you could do whatever you want. Same with No Man's Sky. You just do whatever you want. And there's no boundaries, or it's just anything. You want to explore all the galaxies and name creatures and animals and planets, you can do that. So if you find these things for the first time, you get to name them. You can go do that. You can go collect resources, and you can farm and farm all day long and make money. You could do that. You could build a fleet, and you could send the fleet out for it's just being able to do anything, and just then being able to save and be like, okay, cool, I can go away for a while, and that's my favorite thing.
No, man, it's interesting it's the best of times and it's the worst of times for gaming right now, right? Best of times because there's so much good, so much stuff out there, right? It's insane. There's sales. When I used to work at EB Games and GameStop for years, there's never a sale. You always just paid full price, right? That's just the way it was. Crazy stuff, but then it's also the worst of times where it's every game is monetized now to
Not every game.
They're all the big ones, all the ones that people FIFA.
Well, I'll tell
Madden.
you too. The other thing that they do, it's not even the microtransactions. It's this bull crap where they're you could get the game for $60, but you could also get the game for $120, and you get all this extra stuff.
Yep.
And if you look at it, it's like nothing stuff.
Yep.
At least they used to years ago. and I know they still kind of do this, but at least if you got the Ultimate Edition, like the $120 version, you got like a beautiful statue. Like I know my brother was like
they're still around,
high
but not
on
as
that.
much
Like
as they used
he
to
got
be.
the what was it, Halo Reach?
Yeah.
He got that
Oh, the
beautiful.
giant,
Oh my god! Like and then Assassin's
Creed always does one. Dude,
Assassin's Creed and Skyrim had that dragon one where you got this huge dragon.
you got
statue.
the end dragon, yeah.
Like, I mean, that's cool. Like, at least that's something where you're like, hey, it's a $40 statue or whatever, but you physically have something.
Yeah, because I just did the digital deluxe for Age of Wonders Planetfall, and because it came with like the seasons. You're pre-ordering content that's not out yet for digital content, right? Like pre-ordering Seasons Pass, and I got like a bunch of extra. I love Age of Wonders, so I'm like, well, I like it. I'll support it playing, but I get it, man. It's dumb. Like I did the bigger Division 2. I've gotten to put 2 hours into that. We just play so busy. I don't even get to sit down and play these games I'm buying.
Right, and then this is why like Breath of the Wild, like you just got a full game for $60, and yeah, they're expanding it, and you can get more. Sure, Spider-Man, you got a full game for $60.
Yeah, no, it's rare.
Like you did it, that's it. I got to play the whole game. Red Dead Redemption. I got to play the whole game for $60. Like it was amazing. I'm hoping the one I'm looking forward to is that Cyberpunk. God, that game looks amazing.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be nuts. The more
like even before the Keanu Reeves bullshit, but like
no, it was still. I mean, Keanu just made it even better for me.
Right.
Like, well, the fact that I was actually surprised by something.
Yeah.
They kept it. Keanu was cool, but it was the fact that like there was no like, rumor has it Keanu's gonna be coming out in the Xbox stage, right? It was just like. And now here's Keanu Reeves coming out for Cyberpunk, and I was with my buddies, and we're like, what? Like this is what? That's awesome. So Cyberpunk's gonna be dope.
Oh my god, I can't wait. I'm trying not to get too exciting because a lot of the stuff that they listen, it's a great studio. They're the same studio that does Witcher, which was an amazing game.
Project Red.
Yeah. And so it sounds like it's gonna be great. And it's based off a RPG.
Yeah.
And so like I think it's gonna be amazing, but like everything they're talking about just seems too good to be true. So I'm kind of like, man, I'm
the
gonna
hype
wait.
train's real. I mean, though CD Projekt Red, to my knowledge, has never really released a bad product. They're all good, like Witcher 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then this, like all the Witchers are considered like going back to the Witcher 1 and 2 now is a little. It's rough for the time, but back when they came out was awesome. I mean, Witcher 3, people say it's my favorite game of all time. It's Witcher 3. Like, I hear all these great things about it, right? And all the Witcher 3 DLCs were awesome, right? Like, they're great. They have good endings. It's story. Like, they really, like, just, when they do something, they hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
It's, I forget, I think it's one of the Nintendo higher-ups, I think it was Miyamoto, was like, you can't patch a good game into being good. You can't fix a bad launch to being good, but you can delay the game to be good. Like, don't release it garbagey and then try to patch your way into it. Like, hold it back as long as you need to make it sure when it comes out, it's the top product that people want.
Yeah, man, that Cyberpunk game.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. All right, what do you think? You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Thanks for sticking with us. Those of you that did, probably 10 people or so.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we really appreciate listening to our tangent. Slow Legion week, so we thought we'd go off. Next week is our 1-year anniversary episode. We've got a number of exciting things planned. You guys are going to love it, I hope. And tune in next week. And thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, and stay rad.
Join us next week for another edition of the Fifth Trooper podcast.
This has been a Fifth Trooper production.